morphs those destroyers, and then they have full mana. Then they can quickly take out towers in conjunction with the level 1 Breath of Fire from the Pandaren Brewmaster. We'll also go over some targeting and stuff when it happens, since that's actually what I want to do a lot of focusing on. So lots and lots of towers, guys. This is probably, as an Undead player, I'm sure this is, looking at this, I mean, this is just making you sick, because you see this all the time in Ladder now. This is what human players do on almost any map. You can expect this. They're going to tower up. They're going to, fast. They're going to try to tech. They're not going to fast. They're going to tower up defensively. They're going to slow play. They're going to really turtle until they get, tier 3, until they can mass this huge tier 3 armor and then walk right over you. That's the only way that humans have found to really beat, I think, Undead, unless they're playing really, really aggressively in some new thing, strategy or rifles or shorks. But this is the common cookie cutter, and that's what I'm kind of going over, because this is what the majority of you are going to find when you play on Ladder. And how boring it might be that this is a cookie cutter replay. I mean, you got to understand that this is what most players are going to be seeing on Ladder. At even the lower the 20s to 15s, 20s, and 30s level of battle map play on Ladder play. So little bit of a situation going on right now for the human player, and this is why I wanted to show you about the chain morph destroyers. He gets some chain morphed, and you see how fast these towers go down. They do have the one improved masonry upgrade. I think I called it fortified upgrade, my last one. Someone had called me out on it, so it's the improved masonry upgrade. And the human player doesn't have his Mountain King, so he's not worried about a bolt. This is a really interesting fight here. The Death Knight doesn't have enough mana to put off a coil, and so that Archmage feels a little bit confident running in there, but the Archmage was at 13 hit points too, so that was pretty interesting little tactic there. The Archmage did have Boots of Speed, however, so he might have been able to actually catch up to that Death Knight and finish him off, but he decides to let him go. I think the Death Knight got caught off in some shade going up that hill, and the targeting kind of got a little bit screwy there. So you see, even though Protoss, going back to what I was saying before, Protoss decides that he doesn't have to TP out, that the only unit that's actually hurt really bad is his Death Knight. So if he can run him out, his full HP Panda and ghouls and fiends and destroyers can sit there and finish off that expansion. Now, to take a look at what this actually did now, taking out expansion at this point in the game, the human player invested a lot. There had to have been at least 5-6 towers there, probably more, at that expansion, not to mention building it, and he hasn't really mined a lot from it right now. Let's take a look. 10,850 gold in that one compared to 12,500. I don't even know how to say numbers right now. So yeah, he got maybe 2,000 gold from that expansion, with the investment of having to build the town hall there and upgrade all those towers. It wasn't worth it. It basically made all that investment pretty much useless. He wasn't able to make any advantage of having that expansion now. So again, this is kind of working on how to delay your opponent and kind of know how to work that out. So the human is at tier 3 now, which is a good thing, but let's take a look at his resources. I said I wasn't going to look at resources, but I am now. He doesn't really have a lot of resources to really invest into really high-end tier 3, and instead he's trying to build a counter to those destroyers. Now the Undead player isn't massing destroyers, and in that sense I think gyrocopters are kind of a bad buy for people who aren't massing destroyers, because they're so easily countered by very few fiends. I mean, he's got 3 fiends, so he could probably do just well with just 2 fiends, using web to bring them down to the ground so his ghouls and heroes and destroyers can easily pick them off with their splash damage. So I mean, gyrocopters, don't get me wrong, are really good counters to a lot of air, but I don't think that Kai at this point could have made enough of them to make a big difference in the battle. And again, those gyrocopters, they're useless versus everything else. They're going to die to fiends, they're going to die to heroes, they're going to die to Breath of Fire. That hits air, if you guys didn't know that. I know everyone probably did, crazy Panda fans out there. And the ghouls obviously tear them up when they're on the ground too. So, right now all the human player has that is going to be able to take out heroes and fiends and ghouls and things like that. It's just his heroes. He's got 3 heroes, and they're not really high level. We got a level 3 Archmage right now, just freshly level 2 Mountain King, and that level 1 Paladin that just came out recently. I guess he's like halfway to level 2. But you kind of see how that's working out. Now, in the last audio commentary I did on this matchup, I was trying to make a point on setting up a counter expansion when you're versus humans that do this, especially when they do up fast expansions. However, this expansion in this replay wasn't necessarily a fast expansion, so the Undead player doesn't really have to worry about setting up an expansion at this point. He can play how most Undead players do, is not expanding until their original gold mine is almost out, and they can still be okay with that. They don't have to invest into having that crazy amount of resources early on. So level 2 Breath of Fire now, and level 2 Coil from that Death Knight is going to make picking off all those heroes really, really easy. I mean, the Archmage is just an wide open target. He did transfer those boots of speed that he had on his Archmage earlier to his Mountain King, which is obviously what you want to do as a human player. Try to make it so it's harder for heroes and units to run away from that Mountain King by increasing his run speed with the boots of speed. That's a good item here. So instead of attacking his main base, he goes back to pick off that expansion, which is a good idea. There's no reason for him to go into that main base where there's a lot of buildings, where those towers are kind of really kind of protected and squared off. He can go and kind of play in the expansion spot, and again, make this expansion useless. Although we have, now we're at 2, the second level advanced masonry upgrade. Those towers still fall down pretty quick to destroy with mana. Again, we saw that chain morphing of destroyers, and you see how he's playing now. He's not playing near the towers. Those towers are just sitting there useless, and he's was able to play off and move his Death Knight, was the last one to actually get hit by a few of those towers, to now make the fight happen in his own scenario. So taking a look at food counts right now, 68 to 35. Most people that commented on this replay when it was originally posted said it was one-sided, and it was kind of maybe a boring replay to watch. But although I agree that it was probably a little one-sided, I agree that you got to kind of see from my point of view that it was one-sided because of all these really great decision-making and the experience of Protoss here. Obviously, and it's really good micro, saving a lot of low HP units, using Coil really, really well, harassing. I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of added up to making this a one-sided game. And to realize that these kind of tactics work for even average level players. So we don't have a lot of mana on these destroyers. In fact, all of them, the mana has burnt up. So going up against a lot of towers is a little bit risky. And again, you'll notice that the human player is trying to use whatever towers are up to try to pick off individual destroyers, not necessarily the heroes. In fact, not the heroes. So he's coming in with a few more flying machines. Again, doesn't have enough to really do anything. And with that, Death Knight still having a good amount of... actually, he just had to use his Death Pack, so now he only has enough mana for, I think, one more Coil. He's kind of in a bad situation. All these destroyers here are doing great. They're not even upgraded, so, I mean, a lot of the times in these kind of games you don't see them upgraded. Game just ended here. The Archmage went down, so... what else do I want to talk about? I normally have my thoughts together a little bit more, but... hey, if you guys are interested, I know some of you guys are listening to these audio commentaries, and I was too when I originally started listening to audio commentaries about 2 years ago. I was thinking, hey, I could probably do this better, or I could do this differently, and I think I'd be a good audio commentator. So if you are in that crowd and you think that you're a good audio commentator, we need more. I mean, we're always losing people. We're always bringing new people on. I mean, it's the idea of this business. It's all volunteer based, so people get bored of it. People kind of go in and out. People leave, they come back. I mean, it's just kind of how it works. So we're always looking for new people, even if we're not making official posts on the front page to indicate that we're hiring. But me as the coordinator, I look at the member audio commentator section first. So if you're not already actively putting audios on that section, I mean, do it. The reason I do that is because you can get viewer feedback. I mean, you can get feedback from those forum members from watching your audio commentary and listening to it, and you can get some honest feedback, and then you can kind of improve yourself. So once you have 4 or 5 member audio commentaries under your belt, it works out good, because now you've kind of over that few audio commentary hump, and you've kind of improved yourself. So, member audio commentary section, check it out. If you're waiting for audio commentaries to come on the front page, there's tons of audio commentaries there by member audio commentators, and they all put a lot of hard work into it. And a lot of them are professional players, or at least semi-professional, at least average, probably better than I am at actually playing the game. So. Alright guys, this is Systemshark from WCReplays.com signing out, maybe for a little while here, who knows, it's nothing official yet. Thanks for listening to my audios as always, I really appreciate it, and I know you guys have a lot of audio commentaries you could probably listen to, so I appreciate you guys taking your time, spending it with me, it's always nice. Alright, talk to you later guys, see ya.